Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Ryan, aka Alita Llama. Today, I want to talk to you about Journey. It came out on the PS3 and was also recently released on the PS4, which is where I played it. It is also a game that has had a profound impact on me, despite the entire game only taking a few hours to beat. It also offers one of the most unique and meaningful co-op experiences in gaming, even though I never spoke a word with the person I played with. But, before we get into that, let's discuss the plot and gameplay of Journey. You play as a robed figure in a vast desert, trying to get to a mountain in the distance. Why? Well, the game doesn't tell you that. In fact, short of minimal control instructions, the game doesn't tell you much of anything. And that's part of its charm. It cleverly points you in the right direction via camera angles and the placement of structures in the game world. When the game begins, all your hooded character can do is move. With no other landmark in the distance, you begin your journey towards the ominous mountain. Along the way, you gain a scarf which grants you the ability to jump. You can also collect floating symbols scattered around the game world that eventually makes your scarf longer, allowing your character to jump multiple times in a row. The third and final action your character can perform is a musical chime. The button for the chime can be tapped for a small burst, or held down for a burst with a larger area of effect. The chime activates lifeless pieces of cloth that are needed to progress further in the game. You travel silently through each area of the game, getting small pieces of story told through a wall mural after beating each section. And while the story, its highly emotional themes, and the beautiful music are each an incredible experience unto themselves, it's the co-op that really made Journey stand out to me, and why this is a game I will never forget. The funny thing is, I had no idea this game could be cooperative when I first started playing. I had beaten the introductory part of the game and was all alone, traveling sprawling sand dunes in search of hidden symbols. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. Another silent, robed figure. Was it another player or some sort of AI? I had no idea. But I moved towards it, excited that I was no longer alone, and realized that its movements were certainly human-like. It was definitely another player. But then it hit me that there was no traditional way to communicate with this person. There was no name above the character and no option to send a message. All I could do was to use my musical chime. I held the button in for a large burst and released it, as if to say, "Hi, it's nice to meet you." They chimed back, and an instant bond was formed. We completed the section together, working alongside one another to activate pieces of cloth. We even helped one another find the hidden symbols, the ones that increase your scarf length. If I saw a piece that they didn't see, I would stand by it and chime over and over until they saw me. I would wait for them to get it before we moved on together, and vice versa. Every few minutes, one of us would chime and the other would respond, simply happy to know that someone else was along for the ride. And once we found out that our chimes could power up each other with more jumps, we were staying close together and chiming almost constantly to keep each other topped off. Within a few minutes of playing together, a friendship had been created. I know it sounds cheesy, but all we knew about each other was that we were on this journey together, and that's all we needed to know. When I first started playing Journey that evening, I had only planned to play for about an hour, but after playing with my partner for about that time, I realized that I couldn't bring myself to leave them behind. We had gone through so much together, so I decided to keep playing until we beat the game. And when I made this choice to keep playing, it really stuck out to me. I didn't know who this player was. After all, we had spoken no word to each other. It could have been a teenage boy or a middle-aged woman, but it didn't matter. Before I knew it, Journey had allowed us to bond together in a way I hadn't ever before. We were both in it together, and it was a magical feeling. These feelings were present throughout our entire playthrough, even more so as we moved further and further into the game. Eventually, Journey's initial light-hearted tone of discovery and companionship faded into something much, much darker, and this only added to our experience. I didn't feel as safe as I did before, and I could tell my partner didn't either. We stayed even closer together and took less liberties to explore without the other by our side. Without spoiling too much, there were times when my friend's life was in danger, and I was genuinely afraid and concerned for them. But there were also great triumphs. When we overcame a difficult obstacle, we would send each other a barrage of musical chimes, cheering for ourselves the only way we knew how. And I have to say that the last few minutes of Journey were some of the most emotional I've had the pleasure of experiencing in a game. Journey, although relatively meager in scope, has given me an experience that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. It's a game that proves that sometimes strangers make the best friends, and that just having someone alongside you is enough. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want me to cover any games or topics, just let me know in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Ryan, aka Aliva Lama, and I'll see you next time.